Hello, everybody, and welcome to the post-match show here, part of the Clean Bowl podcast with me, Sab, and joined again by special guest Santhosh, all the way from Krishnagiri, to join me on this very special edition. And there we have it. Then there were two teams left. We have now know which teams will be playing in the final after India narrowly, and I mean very narrowly, beat England in an all-time classic game at the Wankhede Mumbai. That doesn't even scratch the surface. We'll get all into that in the post-match show. Before we get into it, make sure you like this video, give it a share, and hit that subscribe button as well so you don't miss out on all of our amazing content that's going to be coming your way. So, yeah, well, what to say? 40 overs of cricket, nearly 500 runs scored, but in the end, India overcame England by just 7 runs. To seal their place in yet another T20 World Cup final. Back-to-back finals for India. They face New Zealand on Sunday. Now, obviously, we will preview the final, but there's so much to get through. This was probably one of the greatest games in T20 World Cup history. But yeah, God, it was stressful for both teams. In the end, India came out on top. Santhosh, I still haven't quite recovered from the game. I'm going to assume you're the same. What are your kind of thoughts? How are you feeling? Happy or relieved? Or, yeah, what are you feeling?
They have decoded Varun Chakravarti. Today we have seen him getting tonked left, right, and center. And he's been treated like a gully bowler, which was really hard for me to see. A bowler from my state who is getting tonked. And
yeah.
So that is really hard for me to digest. And looking into our lineup, we are just playing with 9 players. So Surya is not performing well, and Abhishek just like the same. So same thing. We not to be focusing much with Sanju Samson. I didn't expect much from Samson, so he has delivered. So I'm just following the reverse psychology. Let's not expect from Samson. He will deliver, and hopefully this for me it'll be better for Team India to drop Abhishek in the finals and get Rinku in the middle order. So at least we'll be playing with 10 players. So Surya is there only for captaincy quota. I wanted Surya to score well today, but it didn't click for him. That was his home ground. You know the conditions well and compared to the rest of the players. So for India to be as a champion side, winning the finals, and to heal the nerves, it'll be better for us to drop Abhishek and go with Rinku.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. My dad was talking to me after the game and before we started recording, and he said exactly the same thing as you.
Oh
that
wow!
they should drop Abhishek, and I said, okay, but who are they going to drop it on? He said, bring in Rinku Singh. Even try to open with Tilak Verma. Just try something because he's not doing anything. I do agree. Maybe it might do him good to be taken out of the firing line in such a pressure game, but I really don't think India are going to make any changes to this team. Even though some players are being carried, I would be shocked if they made any kind of change to the top of the order. I would for a final. I don't see that happening. But anyway, we will discuss that in the preview to the final video. Today we're talking in the semi-final. So yeah, just to the tail of the tape, really. Coming into this, when you and we did the preview to this game, we were quite scared of what was going to happen. We were not sure. It's difficult to read England and their team. But I don't think either of us expected this kind of game today. And in my wildest dreams, I would never imagine this is how the game is going to go. So let's take all the way back to the beginning. India made no changes to the team that sailed through to the semis with beating West Indies. Same combination, same team, which I think was pretty much expected. It didn't seem there was going to be any need to change. England made one change, an interesting change. A lot of people are a bit surprised that Jamie Overton replaced Rehan Ahmed. Again, an interesting selection from them. England actually won the toss and chose to bowl first. And I was a little bit like, not sure, because Wankhede, it's like a lot of the teams, I think maybe chasing might be easier, as we were speculating. That's what we spoke about in our preview episode, that chasing would be good if India can chase. That'd be good. So, and England seem to be a good chasing team, especially with their Bazball era, with the players they have, with the long batting lineup they have. Chasing seemed to suit them. I guess yes or no is the answer post game, um, but India batted first, and we were like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm not sure, but wow, I mean, really, what happened next was nobody expected. This is not the day. This was not a day for bowlers, but the batsmen put on an absolute clinic here. India piled up 253 for seven in their 20 overs. I mean, they absolutely annihilated England's bowling. Sanju Samson, star of the show again. 89 of just 42 balls at a strike rate of 211. Seven sixes and 8 fours in his innings.
It was a selfless innings from Sanju Samson because he knew for a fact that Abhishek's not going to score because end of the day, the oppositions they have decoded Abhishek. Sadly, that too during this time, they would have if they would have decoded him after the World Cup, that would have been fine. But he took all the responsibilities on his shoulders, and he after accessing the wicket, he started playing his natural game. So I have to thank Brook for dropping the catch. If not Brook, we
Yeah,
would have been in a difficult situation. So he played a
yes,
selfless innings and he didn't look out for any milestone, scoring a century. So that was something good for us, Sanju, and it was so selfless of him saying Bumrah deserves the man of the match medal than
yes,
him.
yeah.
So that was a great gesture from him.
Well, yeah, we all know. I think that's why he has so much love from the cricket world and Indian fans, but just for fans around the world because of not just who he is as a batsman, it clearly is who he is as a person. Very sweet, very humble, down to earth guy who's been through a lot. Who people want to do well. They want him to succeed, and he's starting to do that now. So one more game for him to do. So hopefully he can deliver. But yeah, I didn't say that one. I think though he did score brilliantly, but he had a huge let off and a very telling one, a very costly drop. Uh, Sanju Samson was dropped on when he scored 15 runs by none other than England's captain Harry Brook, and it was a real pretty simple catch to be honest, mid off. It seemed like it was a bit of a plan. We talked about the Archer versus Sanju Samson combat battle. Sanju's definitely won this battle without a shadow of a doubt, but this particular delivery, it was a slightly uppish delivery, which Sanju Samson didn't time well, and this was clearly part of a plan to get him out. Ball just went straight to Harry Brook, and he dropped an absolute sitter. And yeah, um, he definitely made the most of that and really punished England from there. I mean, yeah, it was a masterclass in batting and exhilarating hitting. Like he just did not give England an inch. It was relentless. Something very special to see. Cameo performances. 39 of 18 from Ishan Kishan. Shivam Dubey. Now look, everybody knows my feelings about Shivam Dubey, but uh, he actually came out to bat at number 4 today, which was another interesting thing. So when Ishan Kishan was dismissed in the 10th over, India were on 117 in the 10th over, and then everybody was a bit confused when Shubham Dubey walked out to bat. I guess the idea is that he's a big hitter, used to coming in knocking big runs in the final stages. So I guess the idea was that he was going to bring that power hitting into into the middle over to kind of push us up a high. So he actually, proved a lot of people wrong, proved me wrong. Fair enough. I hold my hand up. He scored 43 of 25, 4 sixes and 1 4, which did a good job. He's actually run out in the end, so who knows what he might have got on. But yeah, very valuable runs. Hardik Pandya 27 of 12, and Tilak Varma 21 of 7. So these late overs for India, and that last 10 overs, they've really piled on the runs to get to what seemed like insurmountable, a huge, daunting score of 250. Now, Santhosh, I want to ask you. So, what were your thoughts when I'm going on to a point with this? But what were your thoughts when Shivam Dubey came out to it? Because I know you and I spoke on Instagram about this because we were confused. But what did you think when he came out to bat? Were you just as confused as I was, or?
I was stumped over seeing Dube coming over Sky because we know Dube is a pinch hitter, and he doesn't play mindless cricket, but he'll just go from ball one. So I was under an impression, okay, they'll be sending Sky to build up an innings till 15th over. Then they'll go all guns blazing right after 15th over. But the plan was different, and luckily the plan got clicked. Otherwise, it would have been gone the other way. So I was confused by looking into the strategy, but he did well. And even I was I didn't I wasn't I was totally clueless after seeing Dubey coming to bat. So it clicked for India. So that
Yeah. Well, it did click, yeah, and I guess the plan it worked. But even now, I'm still like, did that need to happen? Because I'm still like, why could Surya Kumar not go out and bat like the same way? That's what he's known for. That's why he's made his name. That's why he's captain, for playing these amazing innings and these shots that nobody can do. He's the captain. He's the leader of the team. He's the best batsman, if you like, of the team. Certainly the most senior batsman in the team. He should be taking responsibility and coming out to bat, and he should be smashing 40 of 20 or 60 of whatever. Yeah, I just don't understand. It felt a little bit strange to me that he didn't come out to bat. Captain should be taking responsibility. Look, I get there's a strategy, but it's not like, see, for example, like if Hardik Pandya or Akshar Patel came out, I'd be like, okay, cool, I understand. Like these are really big hitters. These guys absolutely smash the ball. They want to get to as many runs as they can. So I get that. But Shivam Dubey is not on the same level as a Hardik Pandya or an Akshar Patel when it comes to pure hitting. So it just didn't make that much sense. Look, I'm not trying to discredit Shivam for what he did. He came in, he did a job, and he did it really well. So look, I'm not trying to discredit, but I don't. When I said when we said in the preview, Sky needs to deliver. He hasn't delivered really anything since that first game. Now's the time. We're in a semi-final. Your country needs you to lead to get into a good score. It felt like he was putting the responsibility onto somebody else's shoulders. This is how it came across to me. I'm sure if you ask them, they will tell you something different. It just felt a little bit strange. And again, then Surya Kumar Yadav did come in and only scored 11, really, in a very weird innings.
That
So
was a
his
scratchy
form,
innings.
very scratchy innings. His form is concerning going in. Um, Another person's form who's very concerning now is Abhishek Sharma. Obviously, we've spoken about him. I personally don't think they're going to make any changes there, but he only scored 9 today. So those are the two weak spots in the whole team. No one's really going to talk about it because of how many runs India got, but just think how many runs they could have got if those two had actually scored even 20. They'd have scored nearly 300 because that was
Yeah.
actually on the cards. 270, 280 was on the cards at 16 and over, so that's what I mean. So look, in the end, it didn't matter, but well, let's look at England's bowling because Mr. Michael Vaughan mentioned that England's spinners are better than India spinners. I'm just going to read out the England figures for you. Jofra Archer, 4 overs, 1 wicket for 61 runs, economy rate of 15. Will Jacks, 4 overs, 2 for 40, 10 and over. Actually, isn't that bad considering what happened. Jamie Overton, 3 overs for 36 and economy rate of 12. Sam Curran, 4 overs for 53 at an economy rate of 13. Adil Rashid, 4 overs, 2 for 41, economy of 10.25. Liam Dawson, 1 over 19. So obviously his strike rate is 19. So yeah, this was not a good day for the England bowlers. I was really amazed to see how badly Jofra Archer bowled. Considering we spoke about him as being one of the more important members of the attack, he had a horror show today. This is one of the worst spells of bowling I've seen from him for a long time. What did you make of England's bowling and Jofra Archer?
I think England spinners bowl well when compared to Indian spinners. Even now, that's what I can say, because when you happen to compare the spinners with side by side, so you can see Chakravarti is going over 60, and
Mm.
leading spinner, say Adil Rashid, he went for 41. So he's gone 60 overs. Sorry, 20 runs extra when compared to Rashid. So that is where they won the battle. So attacking our lead spinners, getting the runs up. So they won the battle attacking our spinners. The main difference was Bumrah and Akshar Pat. Sorry. Ashdeep Singh. So they held the nerves well, but end of the day, if there wasn't Bumrah in the team, they would have scored easily by 18th over or 17th over. So that was he
Yeah.
was the only difference in both the bowling lineups. It was a great game of cricket to watch, but as an Indian fan, it wasn't a great sign for me to looking into the finals because uh, the Kiwi players they play more sensible, and that's what I'm scared of. And looking at our bowling lineup getting smashed left, right, and center, I think Ahmedabad doesn't have good record for India and finals, so I'm just hoping for the best.
Yeah. Well, let's hope for the best. Anyway, we will we'll do some therapy sessions for our preview to get ready for the final next video. But yeah, I mean, I did think England may. I was thinking England would get bowled out for 180, 190. That's what I was thinking. Because they do have a big batting lineup. They do have players who are very good in this format of the game. So I didn't expect, but I just thought there's no way they're going to get. But again, nobody could have expected what happened next. So England came out with a lot of intent. Josh Butler was starting to get going. He hit a few fours. I think they scored 12 off the first over, so they're just getting into the rhythm. And then in the second over, Phil Salt, I mean, he's had a horrendous tournament as well. He went out very cheaply. And then Harry Brook was taken in the fifth over by a brilliant catch by Akshay Patel. So if you get a chance to look at the catch, again, a brilliant ball by Bumrah from first over. And obviously, we spoke about those in another battle after Archer and Samson. The next battle we spoke about was Brook versus Bumrah. They were going to keep Bumrah until Brook is in. That is exactly what they did. It worked to perfection. First ball, brilliant slow ball by Bumrah, which Brook could not read at all. Well, it looked like it was kind of heading to the boundary, but Akshay Patel ran, it must have been 15, 20 yards from where he was with a brilliant catch over his head. If you haven't watched it, watch it. An absolute brilliant catch. And I tell you what, we spoke about India needing to be better in the field. They were brilliant in the field today. England were not good in the field. Not only did Brook drop that catch, there were fumbles. England were not at the normal high standard. Though England's catch efficiency was about 85% before this game, and they have one of the better fielding records in terms of just general fielding. But they were really bad in the field today. India were very good in the field. I know they shipped a lot of runs, but fielding wise, you couldn't fault them. They took that one catch from Maxim Patel, and then the other catch, which we'll speak about. Two
Oh
brilliant
wow!
catches. So after that, England just lost some wickets at regular intervals. Josh Butler, again, he couldn't really get going. You could see he was trying, but he just couldn't really get any momentum in his innings. He went for 25 of 17, bowled by Varun Chakravarti. And then Tom Banton, he smashed a few runs, a couple of sixes, but then he went. Will Jacks came in, he put on a little bit of partnership. But yeah, Tom Banton, when he left, the score was 95 for 4. So after that, it kind of felt like, oh, well, England, you can see what they're doing. They're going to just have to go for it, but they're losing wickets in the process, and eventually they're just going to crumble here. But actually, they did not crumble at all. They fought and fought, and they pulled themselves back into the game. And actually, as you said, came within a whisker of pulling off of incredible chase. Really, would have been the greatest chase of all time in T20 World Cups. The person who anchored this innings, Jacob Bethell, with an unbelievable 105 of 40. I mean, we all know what a special talent he is, but we've heard so much about it, but now we're actually seeing him, really actually do it. I mean, he is genuinely a superstar. Like, we can't, sometimes you just have to take your hat off and say, wow, this is a supreme talent. We saw what he could do in the Ashes when they gave him a chance. Now he's delivering in the white ball lane. I mean, I think this is another star that's already been born, but Jacob Bethell, probably the next superstar of world cricket, certainly from an England point of view. What do you think?
Definitely, he's going to be the next superstar in the mega auction. He'll be going for 20 to 25 crores.
Whoa, yeah. Well,
So
look,
there'll be a mega
if
auction in
if
1 or 2 years.
if Cameron Green can go for for the amount that he's gone, then there's no reason that Jacob Bethell shouldn't go for much more than that. Cameron Green being the most expensive player in the IPL auction history is a joke. Actually, that's crazy. Will Jacks' dismissal, that really felt like it might have been the turning point in the game potentially. Now this catch was, I mean, out of this world. Hit towards the boundary. Everybody thinks it's going to be a six. Akshar Patel again comes along. He takes the ball, stops himself from going to the boundary. Just before he crosses it, he passes the ball to Shivam Dubé, just standing there. Absolutely a sensational bit of fielding. Yeah, I mean, that was the turning point, don't you think, that catch?
Yeah, that was a stunner. Honestly, I was under the impression it was going to six. So I thought Akshar Patel is going to pull the ball inside, but out of nowhere he pulled a stunner, and thank goodness Dubé got the catch because we know for a fact he can drop sitters sometimes.
Yeah.
So he did a great job. If Akshar wasn't there in the field today, we'd have lost the game early. So the difference was Akshar's fielding and English batting. That's it. Akshar Patel was about to pull a stunner in 19th over on the boundary long off. If you have pulled it, it would have been good to see, but that was so unlucky for him, and that was so unfortunate. But it was Bumrah. We have to give credit where the credit needs to be given. It was Bumrah and it was Bethell. They pulled in a great show, and that was once in a generation game, I would say, because I've seen this kind of game where the adrenaline is high in 2007 T20 World Cup. Misbah scooping Joinder Sharma. This is the next one, so it's a beautiful thing to say.
Yeah, it was. It was one hell of a game, and it's the kind of game that you're stinging if you lose, and you're relieved, but also pumped if you win. Fine margins, really. Like I said, the game really had no. There was for England to actually nearly come within 7 runs of chasing it down. You have to give credit to them. Like this, like there's no sort of banter here or trolling here. Like legitimately to even score 246 in a chase of 253 is some serious effort. So it's just a luck thing that it came down to. I mean, it was an incredible batting wicket. It was a road, so that's why all of the bowlers were punished. But ultimately, for India, they had their special man, the superstar with the ball. Bumrah was the difference with that over. It just meant that England needed, I think, about 50 or something of the last 2 overs, 48 or something, which they nearly did anyway. It just felt like the other bowlers in India's lineup could not quite, as they often is, the two things they can't quite match up to the skill level of Bumrah, and that's okay. And that's not their fault. No, there's only one Jasprit Bumrah. My point is the other bowlers are very leaky with their runs is the problem, and also like we said, it's India's lack of depth with their bowling that almost cost them again. That is a real weakness. We could see, like they don't have a sixth. Well, they do have a sixth bowler, but they
Yeah.
didn't really want to there. They didn't want to turn to obviously. So that tells you that they only really have 5 bowlers that they trust. Um, so yeah, speaking about the sixth bowler, so I think coming into the final over of the game, England needed, I think, 30 off the last over, and I was I was in disbelief when I saw who the ball went to in the last over. I was thinking it's going to be Akshar Patel because he has 1 over left. Everybody's bowled out. I was I couldn't believe what I saw in my eyes when I saw Shivam Dubé marking out his run up, and I thought, Why is he marking out Akshar Patel's run up? But he had the last ball, and I was in disbelief. Why is this happening? This is my worst nightmare come true. Because he hasn't even bowled at any point in the game, and you're giving him the last over. I get it's 30 runs, but still, like, I was like, no. This generally felt like a nightmare. Like, and he went for 22 in his over. So, yeah, there was a stressful thing, but they got the key. See, they got Bethell run out at the first ball ever. Brilliant bit of fielding work by Hardik Pandya. So, again, if they had come back for two, who knows?
Things should have gone England's way, honestly.
If he had come back for two, then he's only one big six away from winning the game for England. So,
Yeah.
oh yeah, very fine margins. Let's have a look at the Indian bowling figures then. Not pretty reading either from an India perspective. Arshdeep Singh, 4 overs for 1 for 51 at a strike rate, economy of 12.75. Hardik Pandya, 4 overs, 2 for 38, 9.5 economy. That's pretty good in the circumstances, I would say. Jasprit Bumrah, listen to this. 4 overs, 1 for 33. Doesn't sound that spectacular. Economy of 8.25. That's the lowest of any bowlers in this game. Considering India shipped 246, that's pretty incredible. Varun Chakravarti, oh god, 4 overs, 1 for 64, economy of 16. That is pretty, yeah, that's pretty painful reading. Especially, he's our boy from our state, but yeah, he's not had a good World Cup. But I think hopefully he can recover from this and come back strong. Akshat Patel, 3 overs, 1 for 35. 11.66 economy, and the king himself, Shivam Dube, 1 over for 22 runs. But ultimately, yeah, that he did just enough to prevent England from winning. So India are into the final. They will face New Zealand on Sunday, repeat of the Champions Trophy final. Back-to-back finals in T20 World Cups for India. The first team to do that, I think, if I'm not mistaken. They have the
Yeah.
chance to become the first team to defend their trophy and the first time a host nation can win a competition, so win the T20 World Cup. So after everything that's happened today, ultimately it does mean that India have made the final, which is an amazing thing. And I think they batted brilliantly. They didn't bowl particularly well, but was that always going to happen on a wicket like this? I don't know. It's really difficult because I think England were just going to come swinging anyway. But yeah, India in the final. We made it. After everything,
Finally.
we have made it to the final. And look, I think this is kind of what we want deep down. It would be boring if it was just, easy win after win after win, and then we peak. We want some, risk involved in our cricket. We want some risk to talk about in our sport. And, after being hammered by South Africa, needing them to win against Zimbabwe, needing to beat the West Indies, and now this amazing game against England. So, maybe it's written in the stars. I won't say too much yet because New Zealand are a very good team. They have shown that they're a very good team. They're in a final just as equally deserving as India, especially the way they played against South Africa, which also nobody saw coming. So, yeah, this is not going to be easy, and it can really just come down to the final margin. But India do have Sanju Samson, and we do have Jasprit Bumrah. So, yeah, we'll obviously do a preview for the final, so make sure you watch that when it comes out. We will be doing a live watch along for the game as well. But before we go, Santhosh, are you excited for the final? Are you still scared? Are you nervous?
I'm scared when compared to England because there's always a first time, and we haven't won any games against New Zealand in World Cup. So if India wins this game, then that will be the first time. And New Zealand haven't won any final in T20 as well. So if they win it, so that will be their first time. So there's always a first time. Hopefully,
A
India
lot of
will come out.
firsts. Yeah, a lot of firsts. Yeah, look, I think it's going to be said to be a great game. New Zealand, they will fight. They will always give everything. They will not. They're not a team that gives up. So this is going to be a very hard game. And in fact, they've just recently won an ODI series in India. I think they lost the T20 series, but again, they only by, I think, 2-1 to India. So they know how to win games in India. They know how to beat India in India. And yeah, and India don't have the greatest record in Ahmedabad. So it's all set up to be a fascinating day. May the best team win. We're obviously hoping that India wins, but whoever wins, they'll have deserved to win. And look, it's been a fantastic World Cup. Actually, this has probably been the best T20 World Cup there's been. It's been so entertaining right from the beginning, where we had the associate nations doing really well, and then the Super 8 stage has been really good with not knowing who's going to go through, and twists and turns and just impressive performances, nice stories, and something like South Africa, who just seem to be beating everybody with ease, just are gone. So
Yeah.
you never know what's going to happen in T20 cricket. And again today, what an incredible match this was. 40 overs, nearly 500 runs scored is something that you don't see every day. So a match worthy of a semi-final. But only one team could win, and that's India. So Santhosh, I will see you for the live watch along in the final. I'll see you for the preview as well. Thank you everybody for watching. This has been the post-match show. So there we go. Then there were only two teams left. India will meet New Zealand after they beat England in the semi-final today. We will see you on Sunday. I've been Sab, this has been Santhosh. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.